Hey everyone, welcome to the results video of the second round of the Joker Cup. The Joker Cup is a tournament where all players have been divided into groups, and each group gets assigned a random ride, a random theme, and a random silly modifier. If you haven't watched round 1 yet, you can find it here, in the top right of your screen. Anyway, in this video, I will show you all the creations that were made for round 2. All the players who got 3rd place or better in their group move on to the next round. Anyway, let's start with Group I. Okay, in Group I, all the players had to build a helicopter ride in a Sharknado theme, and no right-hand turns were allowed for the ride. Now, in 6th place for this round, with quite a high score, we could find Sol X. Yeah, in this round, all the entries were just really good, and only 3 of the 6 players can move on to the next round. So we'll see some really good entries. Sadly, not pass on. So yeah, this is one of them. Sol X made a really cool entry. This looks like the top of a skyscraper. It says Octan. It's probably most likely a building from the movie. And here on top we can see several of these sharks. It's also a helicopter platform. In the beginning we could see several helicopters take off, and here they come again. What I actually liked a lot about this entry was when we opened it, we could actually see a shark jump up here and dive right onto an entertainer who was standing here. Holy shark! But yeah, I thought this was a really cool entry from Sol X, and I really love the way he made this text here with all these signs. That's pretty creative. You can see looks like some garbage text on here, but all these characters together they make some text that looks pretty good. So yeah, what can I say? Wonderful entry from Sol X. Alright, next up in the group is the entry from Shen Kitchen. Shen Kitchen made this scene in a city. You can see all these buildings here. Some of them are on fire. You can also see some sharks doing some weird stuff here. You can see the shark make these weird maneuvers here. Sadly, it's still called Lift 1. Here we can see several sharks, basically in the shape of a tornado. And one of these sharks is actually following a helicopter quite closely. Now we can also see a helicopter carousel ride. Sadly, there's no guests in any of the helicopter rides. Maybe that would have made the entry score a little bit better. But yeah, I think the buildings here look really cool. You can see also this vomit here that actually probably with a palette has been recolored to the color red. I think that actually makes it look pretty fun. Now, this is a little bit overcrowded. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe the helicopter ride should have been a more integral part of the plot. Maybe that would have made it score a little bit better. But still, I think it's a really cool entry. Alright, then the score jumps up a little bit. Here we have the entry from Fidwell in 4th place. He made this really cool looking tornado with all these different track pieces. Also some stuff flying around like boats. There's also a helicopter. And every now and then it actually drops. Some guests fall out and they fall into the water. You can see that actually happening here, right into the shark's mouth. It's called Bruce. So yeah, I think already here you can see the helicopter ride is more a part of the more a part of the plot. Let's put it like that. But yeah, I really like how Fidwell did the tornado with all these green squares. Also lots of sharks here, some of these water spouts. That just gives a lot of movement to this plot. I think that looks really cool. So yeah, a concrete building over here with some with some cannons here. We'll get the bastards this time. So yeah, quite a nice entry. Maybe if the building looked a little bit nicer, it would have scored a little bit higher. But I think the tornado itself looks really cool. Okay, then we move to the 3rd place entry. So all the players who got 3rd place or higher move on to the next round. So here we have the entry from Openwood. He made this lighthouse, and you can also see a tornado that's starting to appear over here. There's some stationary sharks here. You can see one over here. This person says help. See some helicopters circling around very fast, also with guests in it. See a big helicopter. The small helicopters actually come out of it. Yeah, I think this is an interesting way to make a station for the helicopter ride. Buildings, I think they look really cool. Not too much detail in them, but yeah, enough to make them look nice. It's some nice usage of invisible colors, I think. Some interesting layering of objects. I also quite like the boat here that Openwood made, and I really like how he did the light pattern here. I can also see a big shark up here in the sky. I think it does look a little bit derpy. The hanging and mechanic here is quite fun. So yeah, that would mean Openwood moves on to the next round. However, Openwood has said that he will be on holiday the coming weeks, so he will not be able to participate in the next round. So that means Fitwell moves on to the next round. Alright, and here we have the entry from Bags. Bags actually wrote a story for this in the form of the stories that he wrote for his timeline park. So his timeline park basically was a B-movie studio with lots of rides themed after movies, and this is actually an addition to that. So over here we see a ride themed after a Sharknado. You can see Sharknado Tempest of Teeth. And guests actually ride in helicopters over here through this track layout. Now, no right-hand turns were allowed, so you can see it only does left-hand turns. And you can see lots of these sharks going around in this. I think Bags did an incredible job here on the scenery. So I love these red fountains here, make it look a little bit gory. There's some fire, lots of special effects. I think Bags did a wonderful job here. By the way, you can download all these entries from my Discord server. You can find a link in the video description. I highly recommend also checking out these entries for yourself. They're really nice. Alright, then here we have the first place of the group. This one was made by me. Here you can see the pickup truck, and now it crashes. And you can see all the water flooding the city. And now here you can see a tornado appear. Also with lots of sharks rising up from the water and also joining the tornado. Now you could see a helicopter waiting here on top of the building, and now it actually also follows the tornado, and a shark is also following the helicopter. So this water effect, I just made it with lots of trains, very long trains for multi-dimension coasters. I think the wave effect worked out pretty well. Yeah, I think this gives a really cool effect for the buildings. I kept them quite simple, but I think they worked out pretty well. And yeah, it seems a lot of people liked my entry. I think this is probably the highest score I've ever gotten for a contest submission. So I'm really pleased that everybody liked this entry so much. So yeah, thanks to all who gave me such a high score. Alright, and with that we have arrived at Group J. In Group J, all players had to make a junior coaster. It had to be in a glitch theme, and players were not allowed to use custom scenery. Now, the Claude QC actually stepped in for someone who was not able to complete his plot. So yeah, here we see the entry from the Claude QC. He made this really quickly. We can see the junior coaster going around here. Now you can definitely see the glitch theme. The Claude QC used a palette which has a really weird color for the water, and some of the animated parts also use this color, so this looks really funky, kind of like Christmas lights. And these fountains also look really cursed, and these water spouts as well. Lots of glitching going on, as you can see, and the rides also have really weird names. Yeah, I think the Claude QC did a really nice job making this plot look glitchy. Okay, here we then have the plot from Colorblind Unicorn. Here you can see the junior coaster, and as it passes through this building you can see it do some weird stuff. several teleport sections in this track. So yeah, I think that's a really fun way to make this coaster glitchy. Here you can see it travel again in this really weird track configuration. So yeah, I think the roller coaster is really fun. I do wish maybe the rest of the pod also was more, maybe a bit more of a glitch theme. That probably would have made people score it a bit higher. But I do think the teleport trick is really cool. Alright, then we get to third place in this group. It's the entry from Madazog. Madazog made this junior coaster over here. This one is a bit more glitch themed. Now I'm playing with sound off right now, so we can hear the music that I'm playing in the background. But trust me, this merry-go-round is here for some ear rape. Yeah, it just plays the merry-go-round sound at the higher speed and pitch that you hear when one of these breaks down with control failure. But yeah, I think this plot looks proper glitchy with these purple or these pink and black squares. You can also see some teleports here in the track, some error messages. Wacky error. Yeah, I think Madazog did a really nice job here. Okay, here's the entry from Ricardo Wado. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So this is an arcade machine. Over here you can see what he calls a glitchy Pac-Man. You can see some weird stuff happening here on the screen. I think the story was something about that some components got replaced by someone. Now the machine didn't function properly anymore. But yeah, I think this looks really cool. Not really sure how we did this. Ah, these are actually signs. Okay. So yeah, some interesting use of scenery and signs to create this glitchy screen for the arcade machine. I think the arcade machine itself also looks pretty nice. Now, and here in the back we can find a junior coaster. Kinda looks like wires of some sort. Yeah, I think it would have been nice if the junior coaster was more of an integral part of the machine. Maybe it would be nice if we could see a junior coaster go around here, maybe as part of the Pac-Man train. I think that would have been even cooler. But still, I think this is an amazing entry. Okay, and here we have the first place of Group J. This is the entry from The Brew. This junior coaster is absolutely insane. You can see it travel around here doing all kinds of glitchy, weird stuff. We could see it travel up vertically here in the beginning. Yeah, it's just insane, but also really fun to watch. Oh, we can see a beautiful building here on top. And here on the bottom floor we can see some kind of weird laboratory or maybe some scientific experiments going on. See lots of people in astronaut suits. Yeah, definitely like the lair of an evil scientist or something. But yeah, I think this junior coaster is just hilarious. Alright, then we move on to Group K. In Group K, every player had to make a spinning wild mouse. It had to have at least one inversion, and the theme was a conspiracy theme. Now, I'll have to be careful explaining these entries so the video doesn't get throttled by YouTube. But yeah, here we have the what's called the Ride of the Truth. So here we have the coaster that NFE made. So yeah, this is a simple wild mouse coaster, and for the inversion you can see a corkscrew here which it partly travels up. Now we can see some UFOs flying around here. Here we can see the always has been meme. Here in the middle we can see a little triangle with an eye saying Illuminati. Yeah, we can see some other conspiracies in this plot as well. Yeah, I think NFE kept it quite simple, but it's fun to watch. Okay, here's the entry from Herbert. Herbert also made quite a simple spinning wild mouse coaster. The layout is more like a real spinning wild mouse would look, although with some very steep drops and some steep hills. It has an inversion right here in the form of this cutback, So 2 half corkscrews in succession. I think that's actually quite a nice fit here. So the layout of the ride is quite nice. I also like how he did these supports here. It looks like glass walls of which the glass parts actually made invisible. So it just leaves these thin supports. I think they actually work great if you want a lattice support like this. Now, throughout the plot we can also see some buildings with some texts. Also, mentioning several different conspiracies. That you can find on the internet. So yeah, I think it's a nice entry from Herbert, though probably it would have scored a little bit better maybe if the conspiracies were actually part of the ride experience. Alright, then we get to the players who actually moved on to the next round. Here we can see the entry from A Guy You Know. And A Guy You Know based this entry on Soylent Green. Now, I haven't seen the movie myself, but I believe it's about a substance that people can eat. Or that they, but it's actually made of people. And here it was, I believe this is actually taking place after the events of the movie. So it's actually been revealed that Soylent Green is made of people, but these people don't care, they just want their fix. So you can see all these people walking around below here like zombies, very slowly, and all just munching on whatever food they have in their hand. But yeah, I think the coaster looks really nice. You can see it travel around here. Now it has travels through this inversion here. Now of course these trains don't actually have sprites for inversions, so it does look a little bit silly. But yeah, that just made it a little bit more challenging for players in this round, I guess. But yeah, like I said, these buildings look great. Also like how it looks here on the inside. Maybe it would have been a good idea to actually have a few less trains, because a lot of these trains are actually waiting on these block breaks all the time. Right, here's the entry from Ball Pit Warrior. Says, oops, dropped a light nil. Yeah, here you can see a scene of the moon landing. Now I love how he did these, oops, you can see lots of truth bombs falling down here. I love the way he delivered these in the form of these crashed sprites. Yeah, what I really like is how he did these moon rovers. So here we can see several of these tricycle vehicles for the boat hire. And it looks like there's actually 2 tracks layered closely above each other with a shoestring. So there's these 2 tricycle vehicles next to each other, one of them reversed, and above them is this spinning wild mouse coaster vehicle. I think that makes for a great looking combination. It's just a really cool looking vehicle. I love how he did this. And here on the back we can see the studio building, and guests are lining up to get a ride on this moon rover. This ride's called the Moon Landing Experience. Here we have the Illuminati bar. And of course this big triangle with an eye here in the sky. But yeah, I thought this was a really cool and really fun entry from Ball Pit Warrior. He really made nice usage of this of all these different vehicles here. Alright, and here we have the first place of the group. This one is from Hobion. Hobion actually delivered the story inside the entry, and it's about the theory of the hollow earth. So according to this theory, there's actually people living inside of the earth, and you can actually see that over here. So here we are on top, we have this coaster. It looks like an old castle. It looks great. Also love the supports for this ride. Hobion also used this trick with the invisible glass. I think it makes for some great looking structures. And here the coaster actually dips below ground. Goes quite fast here. And here you can also see the inversion for the ride. So it passes through this inversion over here. I think the underground part looks great. Hobion made great use of this trick, which you can use to actually make it look like there's a cutout in the ground. And that's just done really well. So that's why we have this part that looks like it's underground. That's really nicely done. Also love the rock work that Hobion did, also the water, the machinery. Yeah, it's just all really nicely done. Alright, and then we arrive at Group L. In Group L, all the players had to build a mini golf ride. They had to make it in a sacrifice theme. And there had to be at least 50 pieces of vomit or litter on the map. So that was the modifier. Now, J Radio also went with the Soylent Green theme. Here we can see a building. We can see all these guests walking around here like zombies. And I believe there's a mini golf here that they can ride. And after that they pop out here and they fall out in between all these cog wheels. Again, J Radio also made quite intensive use of these all these recolorable water objects to make it look a little bit like yeah. There's definitely some grinding going on in here. Yeah, you can also see some posters here. Apparently these posters are advertisements for Soylent Green. And the guests all want a piece of that. But yeah, I thought this was a really fun entry, especially here in the middle. Although maybe it would have been nice if there was a little bit more mini-golf to be seen in this entry. But yeah, still, I think it's really cool. Okay, here's the entry from Manticore 007. Manticore 007 used the 50 piece of litter that had to be placed in this map to create this pattern here in this middle, this pentagram. Well, actually, there's a bit more than 50 pieces of litter. This must have taken quite a while to do with the litter editor. And we can see this mini-golf going around it and some Mr. Bones. Yeah, it's quite a simple entry. I still think Manticore 007 did a really nice job here. It just looks really nice. Maybe if he decorated it a little bit more, probably it would have scored higher. But yeah, I think it's a really cool entry. Alright, and in 4th place in this group we have the entry from Levels. No, Levels actually made an entry called Down or Up or Down. So yeah, I guess take this mini golf. And they go. I believe they go through several layers here in this map. So if we use the cutaway view, yeah, here I think this is the heaven part of the mini golf. This is the hell part of the mini golf. And after they ride, I believe guests, some of the guests actually pop out over here, and then they get dropped into this volcano. Now, there's certainly a bit of glitching going on over here, but still I think the entry does look really cool. Not really sure if this repeating rock wall is a good choice. Maybe some color gradient here would have been nice. Again, a little bit on the glitchy side, not too much though. Also, I didn't really understand some of the scenery that's going on here. You can actually see the heaven part above here. But it is quite difficult to see. You have to zoom out to see it. And apparently some of the guests actually get teleported to up here. Yeah, I think it is a really cool idea. But sadly it just wasn't enough to make it to the next round. It did get quite a high score though. Alright, here's the entry from FlixPy. FlixPy had a story for this entry where FlixPy had to go up a temple, pass 4 trials. I guess those trials are these mini-golf holes. And then finally here on top he could make a sacrifice. So we can see lots of litter here, red litter. So maybe that's blood? I'm not really sure. Well, I thought it was an interesting story. I also really like how he did this temple over here. Especially the top, I think it looks really cool. And this rock work also looks nice. And I also really like how we did use these bamboo shoots over here. Yeah, it's just a really pleasant looking entry from FlixPy. Alright, then we have the entry from Enox. Now, Enox went absolutely insane with the pieces of litter that he had to place in the entry. You can see them over here and here. Now, that must have taken a lot of work to place these all correctly. I believe he actually did some of that actually in Visual Studio. Yeah, probably with a piece of code it's much easier to place all these litter pieces in the correct place. Again, also use the palette to to color all these litter pieces in the colors that he wanted. So yeah, just insane. Again, looks like a heaven and hell mini golf. You can see some guests drown every now and then. Yeah, heaven part also looks incredible. The hell part also looks insane. You can see a pool of sacrifices here. You can see a guest drowning here. Poor guest. But yeah, just once again an insane entry from Enox. It's just wonderful to see what this guy can do with litter. Alright, and here's the final entry. This entry is from Kongoy. And once again, he places first in his group. He also made an insane entry. This one is based on the Terminator movie, I believe Terminator 2. And we can actually see a pixel art of Terminator here in the sky with some drones. So it says drone show. You can see some drones flying around here. Here we can actually see a cool dude object being used here in this lava bath. So yeah, that's basically the final scene of that Terminator movie. I think it's the most brilliant use of this object I have ever seen. But yeah, also a mini golf over here. Yeah, I think the mini golf track looks great. I'll see some guests watching here. There's actually Sarah Connor and John Connor. Yeah, the mini golf just looks fantastic. I love all the decoration here. I think this is definitely a truly unique take on the sacrifice theme. Alright, those were all the entries for this contest. All the players that scored third place or higher, so first, second or third, they all move on to the next round. Except of course in Group I, where Fitwell moves on instead of Ovenwood, who will go on holidays. But yeah, round 3 will start soon. We will once again spin the wheel and pick out a random ride, theme and modifier for every group. I hope you enjoyed watching all these entries. If you want to see them for yourself, you can download them from my Discord server. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like. It would really help out my channel. And I'll see you again in the next video. See you later.